So the big question is this: how do you lose all the weight that you want and actually keep it off for the rest of your life, while trying to make sense of all the noise that comes from the weight loss industry? That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers.
G'day guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Weight Loss Secrets podcast. My name is Baron Grant and I'm excited to have you with me today to share some more ideas of things that are going to be able to help you to make the changes you want in your life to lose the weight and keep it off. And so I'm really talking about not just about the weight loss, but about changing your life to be as healthy as you possibly can be, and the weight will just come on that journey. And as always, these episodes are brought to you by Ditching the Diet. And you can learn more about Ditching the Diet and what we do to help people at ditchingthediet.com. You can get hold of my new book. You can jump on a program. I can help you on the journey. I can coach you every day. Get sick of my voice, but I can coach you every day on that journey as well to be able to lose all the weight you want to keep it off. So with all that said, with that shameless plug out of the way, I want to start off by just giving a little story. The other day I was just driving down the street, just down the road from my house. And there was a guy out the front of the house and he was teaching his dog some new tricks. And each time he would get his dog to do something, he would provide him with some sort of reward. I assume it was some sort of a dog biscuit of some description, but each time he would give him a little reward. So he's trying to get him to sit and roll over and all those things that you get dogs to do. And he would give him a reward every single time. And it made me think about, what do we do in life? And do we do things for rewards? And I think we do. And I think we eat based on a reward-based approach. And it's a funny thing to think about it like that. And I want you to think, how do you reward yourself in your life with food? So we do it with children all the time. Well, I see it all the time with people, and particularly because I'm really focused on food and not eating too much bad stuff. I still like some bad stuff as well, but I see reward systems all the time with children, that they can have McDonald's if they behave, or they can have this lolly bag if they behave, or they can have this or that or whatever it is. And so kids are a great example to watch food or products imitating food as a reward system for their behavior. I don't subscribe to it. I think it's a terrible idea, but I see it all the time. The reason I think it's a terrible idea though is because what we're doing is we're teaching our children that crap, garbage stuff that is kind of like food is something you get when you win. When you do the right things, then you get this garbage. So for me, I don't think it's a great way to go personally, that if you do this, you're going to get X, Y, and Z. That's not healthy food, but that's what I see a lot. And I see a lot of people rewarding themselves with food. Now, it's not just children that we do this with. We do this as adults ourselves all the time. And, I always say to people, if we only ate when we were hungry, we wouldn't have 70% of Australia being overweight. The reason that we're overweight is because we eat for heaps of different reasons. Because we're grumpy, frustrated, bored, happy, sad, whatever. Food seems to be this go-to reward system for something. And it's not even, it's when we commiserate things as well, we eat. So I want you to think about, what are you doing at the moment that is where you're using food as a reward system in your life? So what I see a lot of is when people lose a little bit of weight. And when I say a little bit, it's always a little bit if you haven't got all the way to your goal. So you might have 25 kilos to lose and you lose 5 kilos and you're like, look at me, I've arrived. I'm here. How good. And then you go, I'm going to reward myself with what? The food that I ate in the first place to get to being overweight. That's not a great way to go, because where are you then? You're at the same place you were when you first started. And so when we use food, particularly bad food, as a reward system, it's really unhealthy for our bodies. It's unhealthy for our minds, because then we are not getting in control of the food at all. It's going back in as fast as it went out. Alcohol is always used or frequently used as a reward system as well. I've had a big day. I need to relax with a alcoholic beverage. I've had a big day, a big week. I need to relax with a alcoholic beverage. And so it's like like we've earned it, right? And when that's the mentality, you're never going to be able to break the cycle of this yo-yo dieting trend, because it's always going to be yo-yo dieting if the reward system is food at the end of the day. So I really want you to think about your patterns of your eating. Are you eating for fuel, or are you eating because it's automatic, like we spoke on another podcast, or because you feel like you've done really well for the week and you can reward yourself with food at the end? For me, we have to remove food as any sort of reward system, whether it be with our kids or with ourselves. When we've done really well losing weight, we shouldn't reward ourselves with garbage food that got us to that place in the first place. I think I might have mentioned the story before, talking to a lady, and she said, Baron, at the start of when we were working together, at the start of the program, she said, Baron, everyone around me is eating really good food. And I said, what are they eating? And she told me, and I said, what's good about that food? And she's like, that food is what made you fat. That food is what has caused all of the emotional issues that you feel right now. That food is poison. We don't want to look at that food in any happiness. And that was this wonderful thing because it tastes good, because it's packed full of sugar. We don't want to look at it that it's a wonderful thing, because if we do, then we're never going to move away from it. And it's some sort of reward. It's not a reward. It's a consequence. It's a bad consequence. We need to flip the switch on that just a little bit. So that's the thing I want you to go away with today. Just a short one today. I want you to go away and think about, how are you using food as a reward system? Oh, one more thing. We know that food, particularly food that contains sugar, gives us a nice little chemical reaction and a dopamine hit to our brain. It makes us feel good for a minute when we eat sugar. Always makes us feel crap later. But that's another way that we reward ourselves with food. When we feel sad, we eat sugar. That could be in a variety of forms, right? So when we eat that sugar, then we feel happy for a minute, then we feel sad. So using food like that as well is not great, right? So we need to think of what can be a different reward system. When I've worked with people over the years, I've heard lots of different things that people have used as reward systems. But one was, hey, Baron, my reward system is not going to be food anymore. It's going to be clothes. And I'm like, you go your hardest. And they said, because I'm losing weight, I've got to buy new clothes. So every 5 kilos I'm going down, I'm buying a new shirt. Every 10 kilos I'm going down, I'm buying a new suit. I'm buying a new pair of pants. I'm buying a new whatever. And that shifts from putting food in our mouth as any sort of reward system. So I want you to go away. Are you using food as a reward system at the moment? Are you using food to make you feel better? But unhealthy food will never really make you feel better. Just that little instant, right? That little sugar hit is going to make you feel better for a minute. It's not going to make you feel better long term. So what can you do to change your reward system from where you are right now? I promise you, if you shift that thinking from, I did good, here I eat something, to I need good fuel all the time, you won't crave that stuff as much. That'll move away. All right? Remember, we eat because we're sad, grumpy, frustrated, bored, happy, all those different reasons. And when we can stop eating for those reasons and we can start eating for fuel, weight will come off and it will stay off, because we've changed our habits, we've changed our palate, we've changed our desires, we've changed the things that we like. Because if the things that you like got you to where you are, they're not good things to like. You shouldn't like them anymore. You should like different things that make you feel really good and clean. One of the things I hear all the time when people have lost a bunch of weight and they've changed the way that they eat is they say, Baron, I just feel so clean. I feel so light. I feel so amazing. I don't want to change ever again. And that's, you desire different foods when you feel clean and healthy. So what's your reward system? You can't be like the dogs. You're not a dog. So food cannot be your reward system. Don't reward yourself with food. You're not a dog. That's the message today. We'll talk soon.